Welcome to this week's podcast. I am Chad Owen. Well, let's do that again.
Because we did this last week. This
Yeah,
whole
no.
well, I'm kind of important in the industry. Here's Caleb. He's not important at all.
I wasn't going to say that. Okay. Well, we do need to leave that in. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Ready? Hey, everyone. I'm Chad Owen. Welcome to this podcast. Here's my sidekick, Caleb North, and we are going to knock it out of the park today.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least we're going to try. If not, we're going to act like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So well, you're going to act like you know what you're talking about.
I'll throw in some pepper every once in a while, and you can be the talent here. How about that?
Well, that's the salt.
I'll
The
throw in
salt
some
of the
salt.
earth.
Yeah, I am.
I am not the salt of the earth. Actually, are we? I think we're called to be. We're called to be the salt of the earth. Anyway, wow. Okay, back to this week's message. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about your typical work week, Chad, kind of outlining and breaking down. What do you do?
You are not ready to talk about my
ready.
typical work week.
And let's me specify.
My typical work year, any work week is generally how it works.
What do they say? Days go slow and years go fast, or something to that effect.
Huh.
It's interesting, right? Because sometimes they can just drag on, but you blink.
That's an interesting concept.
It's very simply profound and profoundly simple.
Because 2020 feels like we've been stuck in a torture device. But, man, the days and the years going slow, but I'm like we're almost at the end of 2020.
Almost.
And Lord knows, I'm ready. Unless I saw something just the other day. It said, I want to see the terms and disclosures of 2021 before I agreed to going into this year. That's kind of how it's been. Yeah. So, shoot, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So what does your typical work week look like? I mean, on the annuity side specifically, and for those of you that don't know Chad, understand he's writing his annuity premium simultaneously running 6 other companies, which is and still branching and still growing, and those are growing. And so it's quite an interesting and unique situation that Chad finds himself in. But in the midst of that, obviously still writing remarkably high annuity production numbers. And so that's what I want to kind of focus on today, Chad, is your annuity business specifically, and mapping out kind of your weekly time slots and what you do in those.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do think about what you do at times, and it is kind of overwhelming. But the reality is, if you're deliberate about everything, it's amazing what you can get accomplished. Now, I'll tell you, some weekends, just this last weekend, I literally sat on the couch probably 3 hours, if not 4 hours, 2 days in a row. And that never happens.
That's good.
But I feel like my batteries are about as low as they could potentially get. So, but the reality comes into, because I own 7 companies and a nonprofit. I'm actually about to start an 8th company, and that's actually going to expand into a technology development company. And it takes a lot of time. But I look at what I get to do, and this is the crazy thing. Mondays, from 4 to 7:30, that's when I'm making my calls. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm running appointments. Friday is a potluck day. I mean, whatever needs to be done, pending business. Oh, also before I make my calls, I prepare for the week. And so if I have appointments I met with last week or that I haven't met with yet, Mondays is when I put together illustrations, my kits, everything. I put that together before I make my calls. That also means sometimes when I'm done making calls at 7:30 at night, that means I'm here till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, preparing for the appointments that I just scheduled for that week. So Mondays can turn out to be long days. When everybody's gone, I'm still here a lot of times. And God, I hate this daylight savings.
Makes it tough.
It makes you feel like I'm here at 2 o'clock in the
5:45.
morning. You're going, man, it's only 9 o'clock, but it feels like it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's been dark for 4
It's
hours.
sunset at 5 o'clock in the day. And it also makes it challenging for hunting, too.
It
but
does.
Anyway, so that's a typical work week for me. Now, it never ceases to amaze me the number of agents that go, well, so you do all your pending, all your own, all your case prep, all your own appointment setting, phone calls, everything. Yeah, I do. But when it's that time, like I do not schedule appointments on Mondays after 2 o'clock.
Right.
Every once in a great while. When I say once in a great while, maybe once every 6 months, I might do a Monday morning appointment. So rare.
Sure.
Because Mondays, and I see agents and I tell them that, make Monday your calling time. Don't schedule appointments. Let that be your prep for the week. And then I call them. Even my inner circle people, they'll call me. Oh, hey, I was on an appointment. It's 4:00 on Monday. What are you doing running an appointment? It's now when you have very few leads, I get it. But when you have a bunch, you got to have a designated call time. So that's a typical week for me.
Yeah, well, and it seems like it comes down to kind of trying to bunch a little bit, right? I mean, if you've got, because you have leads come in kind of sprinkled throughout the week.
Yeah.
But for you to mentally get into a place where you're ready to call a lead as soon as it comes across, like that, just you would be jumping around all over the place.
Correct.
And so you take all your leads and bunch them.
Well, and I have a thought process behind this. So I go to the internet and I put in this information, and you, the agent, call me back right away. Are you just like sitting around doing nothing, waiting for that lead to come across? Are you that's free
fair.
With time?
That's
and I just tell people, I'm just saying, I'm sorry, I just don't have time during the week to call. So that's because I'll have somebody, maybe the lead came in on Tuesday, and I won't call them till the following Monday. I say, I'm sorry, I'm very busy during the week. I run appointments Tuesday through Thursday, so I make my calls on Monday. I just have to be very deliberate with my time because I am a very busy person. Sure. I am one of those people that I say, hey, I don't know if I can squeeze you in next week. It's because truly, I don't know if I can squeeze you in next week. I have things 3 weeks from now. I'm even saying, when I was trying to schedule a doctor appointment, they're going 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. I'm like, hey, I need to check both my calendars to make sure I can do that. So it's very deliberate, very, very focused. But you know what? Very rarely does my family ever get sacrificed for that. I mean, when it's weekend time, Sundays, it's family time. Saturdays, it's mostly family time. Every once in a while, in the morning on Saturday, I might have to work for a few hours. But that's not my annuity business. That's everything. I mean, that doesn't involve the amount of ministry I'm involved with. I'm heavily involved with the leadership of my church, and I'm able to just pour into them. They're able to just share things, and that's literally whenever they need to talk, I'm available for that. So that didn't even include any of that.
Right.
And then people that reach out to you on social media having some issues or problems, whether it's marriage or family. I mean, if you would be amazed, what is that, 164 hours in a week?
Well, I guess it'd be,
what is it?
it'd be 24.
24 times 7.
You'd think we'd be able
whatever
to figure
24
this
times
out.
7 is, I think it's 164.
Yeah.
But either way, even if you're sleeping 7 hours a night, which once again, that's a major accomplishment, but that's still only 49 hours. And so you minus that of the number of hours that are in a week, you have tons of free time. So I just choose to keep it pretty busy. Now, I do make sure I do have some rest time in there, but also part of my rest time is my drive time. Yeah. A lot of times people ask me, why do you still run to people's houses? I cannot stress the importance of the hour drive time, the 2 hour drive time, the 3 hour drive time a day. That I can just put on my podcast, my worship music, my audiobooks. I mean, I'm a very slow reader, but I can generally retain information very well audibly. My wife may differ.
She would argue against it.
But, it's when I'm focused, I mean, when that elk is about to get shot on TV, I'm not hearing anything that's going on around me. It's just how it is. I'm focused on that. But, just be very deliberate in your time. When it's study time, study. When I'm driving, that's mindless time a lot of times, where I'm just able to kind of relax, absorb information, but be deliberate on everything.
Yeah, and that's the key. It's being present, and that's the kind of the thing that just kept coming back into my head as you were talking, Chad, is just this idea of whatever you're doing at any given moment, I'm 100% in on this right here, right now. Whether it's a team meeting with all of us in the office, it's 100% I'm in this right now. If it's calling leads, I'm 100% I'm in this. If it's hanging out with your wife, it's 100% I'm in this. And so it's just consistently living a life of presence.
Well,
I'm going to be present everywhere I go.
This was happened maybe 10 years ago. I went on a date with my wife, and I was like, man, how us guys get at times, hey, that was a great date, man. I was like Rico Suave right there. Just everything was clicking perfectly. And we're driving home, and I said, hon, did you have fun on the date? And she's like, yeah. I'm like,
oh, that means no.
She goes, no, it was a great date, but you were on your phone a lot. So now when we go on dates, I mean, that phone is gone.
Put
If the
it
kids
away.
want to get in touch, they're going to have to talk to mom because I'm not answering calls. I just did this. I went out on a date. This was 2 weeks ago with my wife, and I had Josh reach out to me, which was VP of operations. And then I had one of my agents reach out to me, and for whatever reason, I answered the phone, and both of them, why are you answering your phone? You're on a date.
Yeah.
Both of them.
That's pretty good.
And I'm like,
Accountability.
man, you're so good. But, it was a very important topic,
Sure.
very important subject we had to. But, yeah, generally, I'm not answering that phone.
No.
I'm with her. I'm going to stay with her. So
I heard an analogy one time. This guy compared a man's brain to a woman's brain, and he used a Eggo waffle to describe the man's brain, saying we have compartments and we're always in a square, and some of those squares are empty squares. So when a man says he's literally not thinking of anything, believe him. Now, I don't know if that's the case for you because your
No,
brain's a little bit unique,
yeah,
but I could say
you
for
saying
me,
I'm a woman?
no, I'm
just
saying the spaghetti, the way he described the spaghetti brain for the woman was that everything was connected. There was all these different ways and nuances of ways that this connected to this, and that person was connected to this person, and this big jumble of just
So you're
life.
calling a woman's brain a jumble bowl of noodles.
No, of life. I said life. On the record. Said
Okay.
a jumbled.
The
what
views
did
and
I say?
opinions expressed by this guy don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So-
Anyway, so
That said,
back
it's
to
true
your
though.
revelations.
You should be able to, in theory, if you have a waffle brain, which I am guilty of. I have compartments that are empty, and when my wife asks
That's
me,
clear.
Caleb, what are you
You're
thinking
in one
about?
of them right now. So.
What are you thinking about? And I say nothing. It is genuinely, I do not have a thing going on in my head at that moment. But all of that to say, it can be easier sometimes, I think, for gentlemen to get into that way of kind of staying in the compartment that they're in right there in that moment. And whether that analogy is true for you or not, I don't know. I heard that analogy, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And the waffle made sense for every guy that I knew at the time, and the spaghetti made sense for every woman I knew at the time. So for whatever that's worth.
Not much. Okay, next topic. What are we talking about now? Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's keep going. Seconds count, Chad. Seconds count.
count.
What do you mean by that? Because you say that a lot.
I
but what do
say
you
that
mean?
all the time. Every second counts. I was up hunting recently, and we were actually tracking where to find elk. And as we have a limited amount, I mean, the sun's setting, and I stop and I take some pictures of the sunset, and my guide looks at me and he goes, "You never miss a sunset, do you?" It doesn't matter where we are. I'm taking that moment. I'm taking the phone out. I'm taking a picture of it. And I turned to him and I said, "You will never get the same moment twice."
It's true.
And you will never. So I can go back, and this is just how I am. I'm all about the view. I mean, I married a beautiful woman. When I stay at a hotel, I want to be facing the ocean or facing the mountains. When we're on a cruise ship, I want to make sure I have a balcony. Why? Because I'm all about the view. And I don't think I can honestly say if I miss the elk, okay, fine. If I missed the sunset, I would have been more bummed. Sure. I mean, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you can see I just have pictures. I don't even know. I have like 70 some albums of pictures in my Facebook, and a lot of them are the view. Right. And when you stop and think about what good is it to push through life, just doing the grind, but you don't take a moment to enjoy the scenery. And to me, it's not just about the destination. I'm not a very goal-oriented person. I'm about a journey. That's where I get my thrills. That's where I get my excitement. That's where I really take a moment. It's the journey. Because you know what? I remember this movie. You're way too young for this, but I'm sure you've probably seen it. But it was
Old soul.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase's Christmas.
Yeah, where they went to the Grand Canyon.
He's the one that had the crazy Christmas house where he put the lights all over the place.
Yeah, that's a different one. But they're going on a vacation, and their whole vacation is driving to get to the Grand Canyon. And they get to the Grand Canyon, and they all just sit there, put their arms around. Okay, we've been to the Grand Canyon, and they get up and leave. And that was it. I'm going, you could stare. I mean, just the different contrast of light during the day. What would you see in the sunrise versus what you would see in the sunset? Animals move in the sunrise and the sunset. So there's a lot of things you miss when you just get that snapshot versus enjoying the entire journey.
Right.
You know, there's certain times in your life where it seems lighter or darker. There's certain times in your life where things seems clearer than not. But you know what? Your view is always different.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just enjoy this journey. Yeah. Absolutely. That's where seconds count come in.
They do. There was a guy in the office, Chad, the other day. He said, time is a currency you can only spend once.
Correct.
And that's the reality of it. And when you think of it that way, it makes it easier to kind of prioritize those seconds and those moments throughout the day and truly being present. Because when you're on a date, when's the next time you're going to be on a date? Hopefully soon.
But time is also a currency that you can allow other people to hold the wallets, and they can multiply time because you're giving them the resources. Yeah. So therefore, while you're doing one thing, you got multiple people doing other things, so you're all enjoying more time with just someone saying, hey, we go back to mentorship. I always hit mentorship. Do you really want to take all the time it takes to learn what you need to learn and try and figure it out all yourself, or would you rather just have someone that literally is writing tens of millions, $20-30 million a year in annuities as an individual producer, just literally laying out everything I have and sharing it with you? I mean, talk about wasting time.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time. I will always pick up a mentor. I mean, YouTube is masterful for that.
Sure.
When I don't know how to do something, I've done some things recently that I never would have been able to do unless I didn't take time to watch the YouTube channel and figure out how to do it from an expert who's already done it. So sign up for our academy. Become a part of our marketing organization and allow a real agent to help you in real life circumstances to where, and I mean this with the utmost respect, but marketers are not in the field like us. They don't fully get it.
Sure.
Now, that being said, I would not be near where I am without my marketer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's things he's done and able to do that I never would have been able to do. So it's an important relationship, but it's important to get the mentorship from someone who is actually in the field just like you.
Yeah.
The marketer is a support. So the marketer is actually someone who can sit there and support you in the journey.
Absolutely.
I hope this helps you guys. And obviously, let's knock out this year and you have a great day.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just have to clarify. I don't think that a woman's brain is less valuable than a man's brain. I feel like I need to recover from that for a minute.
You cannot recover from this.
It's just
funny
different.
Thing about this
uniquely different.
Is you are married to my daughter.
I am.
And I know my daughter. I
know her too. And she has a brain that connects everything. And I have compartments that are empty. So,
so you're calling her brain a bowl of noodles.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't overcook your noodles.
Whatever.
Anyway, have a great day and happy selling.